Hey everybody, 1-2 here, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial on items. I'm pretty much going to be covering everything about items except for purchasing items. I'll be doing selling of items, how to place them, how to create different classes, how to create like a weapon slot, a general just bag slot, and stuff like that. But the only thing I won't be doing is buying, and that is because I haven't actually got it fully working myself due to probably my own bugs, but it might be a Blizzard bug. I'm not totally sure, but anyways, that's just one thing I won't be covering. So I'm gonna start off by just going and making a new blank map. This is kind of a continuation of my hero tutorial, but I'm gonna be doing it from scratch just so nobody gets confused or has randomly different values than I do or something like that. So I went to the units tab, or you can press U to just go to it. And for player 1, let's place a zealot, and this is going to be sort of our temporary hero. He's not really a hero, he's just going to have an inventory. And let's go right to the actually, before we go there, let's place some hostile for player 15. Let's place some hostile zerglings around, and I'm gonna be showing loot as well, so they're gonna be part of that. So we got that, so let's go to the data editor now, where pretty much all of this tutorial will be done. And so items have three things. An item has a unit for it, and the unit has an actor, and then it has the item itself. And the unit and the actor are sort of for like the in-game, on-the-ground stuff, and the item is like when it's in your inventory. Just specifying like a bunch of data, that's what this is basically for. And then you have the button, of course, for when you mouse over it in your inventory. And of course it has a class, and then you have your bags. So let's start out by making the classes. So right now we have none, obviously, so let's right click and add object, and let's call this weapon. Suggest and press OK. Copy paste and change this one to armor. Rename it to armor and suggest, and copy paste, and let's rename this one to misc, and this will just be miscellaneous. And that's basically it. The classes are pretty simple. So let's go right to our bags now. Actually, before we go to bags, let's go to buttons and make all the necessary buttons we'll need. So let's right click, add object, and the button we want to make is empty slot, or at least, yeah, empty slot. This is what I do for my maps that have inventories, is I make an empty slot button. Hotkey nothing. Icon, this is important. Double click it and click browse. Let's see. The thing we want is empty. Is that going to give us anything? No. That one's kind of good. So this button's good. Press OK. Tooltip, no tooltip, because I think the thing will actually disable the button for an empty slot in your inventory, so we don't need a tooltip. So we got an empty slot, and I think that's all we need for now. So let's go back to item containers. Or not go back, let's go to item containers, and let's right click and add an object. So we're going to make a general bag. Let's just call it bag, and it's going to be a 2x2, so 4 inventory slots bag. So no model height or width, because that's for doing like your avatar if you had a equipment menu, which we'll do later. So slots, this is what matters. Double click on slots. And your editor might be different than mine. I mean, if you have this thing selected, it kind of spreads it out. Or if you have this thing, it switches to table view, which I don't use. I like to use it like this, but it's up to you. Let me make this a little less fat. There we go. So let's add a new index, press the green X. And now this is where our classes come into play. If we didn't have them, this wouldn't really work in game. You wouldn't be able to pick up anything. So click the new X for classes, and let's make armor, misc, and weapon. And the reason it's going to have all three is because our bag's going to be able to carry all three of these types, even though it might not be able to use the weapon. It's sort of like World of Warcraft's just regular bags in the non-equipment inventory. Just, you want to be able to pick up everything even if you can't use it. And anyway, so this is going to be column 0 and row 0. So if we have a 2x2, if we have a 2 by 2, this is going to be the top left square. And Control C, Control V, makes our work a lot easier. And then we'll change this to column 1. So now this will be the top right square, I believe. Yes, and copy paste again, make it column 0, except make it row 1. And copy paste again. And let's make this 1. So now we have row 1 and column 1. So that'll be the bottom right. So we got our 4 slots, that's good, press OK. And so we have our basic bag done, but now we want to make an equipment screen. So let's add another item container. Let's call this equipment. Click suggest, press OK. So equipment is going to have a model of Z for Zealot, yep. And let's say model height is going to be 400, model width is going to be 300. I don't know if that's good, but we'll see later. Slots. Okay, so we're going to have in 0, 0, or maybe not, maybe in 3, 0. So it'll be on the 3rd row down, but still in the 1st column. Or it'll be the 4th row actually, because we're starting to count from 0. And this one is only going to have weapon. Okay. And enabled equip, because it's an equip spot. And one thing I forgot to do actually is we need to find, for our empty face, we need to find our empty slot. And I should press OK and go back to our bag actually. Sorry, I forgot this. Kind of slipped there. Yeah, so we want to do this empty face here as well for all these indexes. Oops, why don't I scroll? Empty slot. Empty slot. This one gets empty slot, and this one. There we go, press OK. And now let's go back to the equipment container. Double click back on slots, plus. And okay, so we got this weapon spot, and let's copy paste and change the column to 3 now. Leave the row, and change the class to be armor, and equip is still good, so press OK. And let's save this, so test items. Okay, and now we have our container, we have our classes, but we don't have any items, and our hero doesn't have any inventory. So why don't we get him to have the inventory first? So inventory is done through abilities, and it's actually an ability type. So if we add object, and we make an inventory, name it inventory I mean, and find inventory in the list, and press OK. Let's see, so we got this. Flags, do we need any flags? No. Range, this is the maximum range you can pick up, let's say 2, and maximum drop range is 2 as well. And I think this is all fine except for info plus. So info plus, double click it and press the green X here. And now for container, we're going to have the first one being our equipment. No items. Empty face, let's find empty slot. There we go. And classes, I don't know why you have to set this again, it doesn't really make sense to me, but equipment, it's going to have these two. And I think that's it. Alignment, we want it to be on the left. You want your, well, you don't have to do this, but I like to have my equipment on the left. And let's copy paste, and let's change this to our bag equipment. And you could, make a 3rd one and make it bag as well, and you could have, it would just make 2 bags, which is nice for your hero. Or you could have even a 4th bag. So we have our little bag here. And let's see, empty slot. And this one's going to have all 3. And it's going to be aligned to the right. And let's press OK. So we got our inventory ability. And now let's go to units and find the Zealot. Search for Zealot, there we go. And go to abilities and click new. And what are we going to make for him? What did I call it? Inventory. There it is. And I don't think we have to do any actual commands for this. No, I think we should be okay.